Donuts?
Get
went
the
for the
extra
donuts.
hour's sleep.
All right, on the
Well, if they're not here, they're still sleeping.
they're still sleeping. On the sheets, I gave you what I should have given you last week, and I gave you something new, I think, because I don't think I've given you this chart before. Now, this doesn't list the number of documents, but it lists the author's lifespan, event of the dates, the day of the writing, earliest extent, and the elapsed, the event of the writing, and the event to the manuscripts. So there's a lot of neat information here, and it compares the Gospels, Pauline letters, let's see, Pauline letters, Josephus, Tacitus, Suetonius, Pliny, Plutarch, Herodotus, Thucydides, Xenophon, and Polybus, which are really, what's neat about this is these are all historians in the ancient time. All these are very important historians. Suetonius was a guy that is actually talked about, one of his quotes is attributes Paul and the events in Rome. So, and also mentions that Nero, I think it was Nero, kicked the Jews out of Rome because of Christus. Guess who that is? In any case, and this is after the death of Christ. So, what I want to do is words of the day. I could have picked a lot because what I want to do is I want to do the narrative, the second narrative today. We'll get that done, but I want to talk about Mysterium. So the words of the day, I have my stash. T-E-L-O-N-A-I. Telonia, telonas is the word I think I gave you. Telonas specifically. Anybody recognize the word in this word? Tell us. Tell us. And the tell us, as I always remind you, is the vanishing point on the horizon. But I guess it's a vanishing point on your bill too. Because telestai means to pay a bill in full. Matter of fact, we'll see that word specifically in here. But telones, telone, this I always give you the form that we find it in the reading. So this is the form, but it's a, it's a noun. You change the nouns for, in Greek, for certain parts of speech. So the basic word is telones, and telones means literally a tax. It's a tribute collector. It's not right to really call it a tax collector, but it comes from two words together, telos, and let's see the other word, telos and oniomai, which means a sum or price. So a telos is the end, well, kind of, and onai is a price or amount. So someone who is collecting tribute is marking off on a sheet the final payment, right? We translate it tax collector. Tax farmer is what probably a better one. Tribute collector is even better because it's not taxes per se, it's tribute. Difference. Taxes go to governments, right? Tribute goes to foreign governments that are in your power. And the reason there was tribute paid in this century was because it was being paid to Caesar. So we pay tribute to Caesar, not taxes. This is a very similar word. H-A actually is a sound, so H-A-M-A-R-T-O-L-O-I. You can guess that this has an O-S too because it means a person, it's a noun. But hamartolos. Hamartolos. Now hamartolos is two words actually, hamartolos from the negative participle and meros, meaning a section or allotment, division or share, and from telos, specifically, literally to miss the mark. This means literally to miss the mark. Miss the point. Miss the mark. This word is translated sinner, usually, or sinners. So we'll see in our text, tax collectors and sinners. Remember the text. Notice, telonas, and hamartolas. Very similar words. Anyway. And I left this one up. Mesterion, Mysterion, because I want to talk about Mysterion. I want to give it just a few minutes, and I don't have a whole lot of time to do it, but I want to hit it. So, what is the Mysterion? I think I mentioned a little bit about it. First thing you got to realize is that in the first century, in the first century, what did we call this group of people that were following after Jesus Christ? What did they call themselves? Somebody said it. Teen Hodos. Who called them Christians?
The Greeks.
The Greeks did. The Greeks did. It's very important. When did they start calling themselves Christians? As far as we know, the late 2nd century. No Christian would call themselves a Christian in the 1st century. No way, no how. The reason is because number one, they're a Jewish sect. Christians is a Jewish sect. It's called Teen Hodos, the way in Greek. Interesting, Greek, right? Teen Hodos, the way. Who named themselves after their leaders or gods? Mysterions. Only Mysterions. So you get the Dionysian Mysterion, you get the Platonic Mysterion, you get the Socratean Mysterion, you have the Pythagorean Mysterion, you get the Mithrin Mysterion. Mysterions name themselves after their leaders or their gods. So therefore, if you called somebody from Teen Hodos a Christian, what were you doing?
Making it a Mysterion.
You're making a Mysterion. You're insulting them. You're slapping them in the face. So that's why in Acts it doesn't say the Christians, the Teen Hodos started calling themselves Christians, right? It says what in Acts? It says in Antioch they were first called Christians. The writers knew, the writer, Luke, and the writers knew that Christian is an unacceptable name. Do you find Christian almost anywhere else in the New Testament documents? Almost nowhere else. Because they did not want to be attributed to a Mysterion. What we find over and over again is Teen Hodos. Teen Hodos is a word that's used in the New Testament because it's a Jewish sect that only later became called Christian. So, the question is why, in a broader sense, what's wrong with the mystery religion? If you remember, I showed you last week, I drew the evolution of religion. Animism, pantheonic paganism, Mysterion, and 4 is Gnosticism. You go from animism to pantheonic paganism because you become literate. You go from pantheonic paganism to Mysterion because of philosophy. You go from Mysterion to Gnosticism because of science. In the modern era, most people who are secularly minded or not Christianly minded or atheistically minded are Gnostics. Because how do you find salvation in Gnosticism?
Knowledge, understanding.
By knowledge. And guess who caused that? Christianity. No, Christianity. Christianity invented Gnosticism. All early Gnostics were Christian. All early Gnostics were Christian. What I keep telling you guys about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was pointing them from paganistic thinking, what's called in the Jewish thought, derash thinking. Derash, basically non-rational thinking, to what kind of thinking?
Rational.
Greek rational thinking. If you're a rational thinker, where do you sit on this pile? This is rationalism, guys. So therefore, isn't it logical that Christianity, in some forms of Christianity, would turn into Gnosticism? That's what we see in the ancient world. Matter of fact, Christianity and Gnostic Christianity were in competition for 100 years. Now, Christianity, as we knew it, won out big time. But this is not illogical. This fits perfectly. The big trick is that guess who took over Mysterion? What is the only group that really is extant out of the Mysterion era? Christianity. Christianity is not a Mysterion, but it looks like a Mysterion. Why does it look like a Mysterion? Let's talk about it. First of all, what is the definition of a Mysterion? Mysterion, by definition, is it literally means, okay, we can translate euphemistically, literally means a secret rite or doctrine. A Mysterion has a secret rite or doctrine. And so they're usually supplements to civic religion. So they supplement pantheonic paganism because as you become philosophical, you now are looking at mysteries. And for example, mysteries, we don't know what all the mysteries were. Some mysteries were simply stuff in a box. Was it the Orpheum? I think it's the Orpheum mystery. The Orpheum mystery was a phallic symbol, a sword, and I think a thing of grain that was in a box. And that was, we believe that may have been the Orphic Mysterion. So when you opened up when you revealed it, and what it took is it took years of initiation to get to that level where you could be revealed the mystery. So you studied and studied and studied, and you were initiated until finally they would let you look in the box. The Pythagorean Mysterion, you know what it is. What's the mystery of Pythagoras? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now how they did it, we don't know, because they didn't have algebra. The ancient world did not have algebra. They did it all geometrically. You know what the Osiris. Anybody have an idea what the Osiris mystery was? Give me a hint. Pi is the Osiris Mysterion.
Circumference of a circle?
It's the circumference of a circle, of a unit circle. The circumference of a unit circle is pi, is the Osiris Mysterion. Some Mysterions we know, most Mysterions we don't, because they were mysteries. What's the mystery of the Christian appearing Mysterion?
Christ has come, Christ is risen, Christ will come again.
Christ is dead, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. That's the mystery of faith. You guys heard that, right? I'm surprised we don't have that in Lutheran, but in every liturgical practice, Catholic, Anglican, Orthodox, they recite the mystery of faith. Where'd that come from? Came out of Antioch. John Chrysostom, about 200, 300 AD, invented the rites of liturgical practice. And he was copying after the mysteries, the Mysterions, because Christianity looked like a Mysterion. I think I mentioned it before, the mystery plays. Anybody ever been to Oberammergau, the mystery plays? Where did the mystery plays come from? The Greeks. Because what did the Greeks do for their festivals? They had religious plays. What did the Mysterions have for their festivals? Religious plays. What did the early Christians have in their festivals? Mystery plays. Mystery plays come directly out of the Mysterion in the Greeks. Every single one of them. And guess what? They were ubiquitous in early Christianity. You don't believe me? Look at the very first mystery play we know of in the English language. Malthus, I think Malthus wrote it? Or anyway, very first mystery play about the birth of Christ in English, Anglo-Saxon. In any case, let's see. Yes, sir.
Were a lot of these mysteries simply because of persecution? I mean,